Hey guys, it's Carl. We're gonna have a bit of fun on today's vid as we are creating my setup around the new iPad Pro with M2 chip. Funnily enough, I got this right before I left on a trip to Europe and hauled around in my suitcase for 2 weeks. I had 2 iPads. Now that I'm back here though, it's pretty much identical to the iPad Pro with the M1 chip. It has the same design, same form factor, but with this setup, I still want to use it for a wireless streaming setup as that's what I mostly do with my older iPad Pro. Usually streaming is reserved for sitting behind, say, a PC somewhere where you're hardwired in, where you need an actual camera that's plugged in somewhere, a PC that's plugged in as well. This one is slightly different. So you can kind of see off to the side right here, I've got the 3 main cameras. These are the Mevo cams, all from Logitech, and you can get them in a couple different orientations or a couple different bundles. So you can grab the starter pack with 3 cameras, and essentially this gives you an all-in-one streaming setup and a multicam setup. And usually when you record on multiple cameras, so we have an A-roll and a B-roll camera right now, those are thousands of dollars. They're stuck to tripods and they aren't the most easiest thing to create a stream out of. You have to plug them into the computer. You have to have a million cables. My cable management is horrible. These all work wirelessly. You can see that they're actually all on right now with this green little light, and they're hooked up to what's behind me, which is essentially an iPad Pro with the M2 chip, specifically the 12.9 inch with the larger display. This has the highest brightness of any iPad, which peaks at 1600 nits, but the biggest upgrade coming to this is the M2 chip, which is actually found in the latest MacBook Air. And in all honesty, in my opinion, you still can't utilize its full power or its full potential as we're still limited with iPad OS. And even on my trip, I couldn't edit all my videos as it still lacks Final Cut Pro, something that we've been waiting to come to the iPad lineup forever, and I just kind of edited my photos on Lightroom. And the second biggest upgrade, which I think is a bit of a letdown being the second biggest thing coming to an iPad, is the hoverability with the 2nd gen Apple Pencil. So if you hold the Apple Pencil 12 millimeters away from the iPad, you just get some extra info. Great for graphic designers, people that use their Apple Pencil all the time, maybe artists, but I myself don't really use it as much as I would like. And other than that, it's pretty much the same as the M1 iPad Pro. So if you already own that, it's probably not worth the upgrade. But back to the streaming pieces, and if you own either the M1 or the M2, it will be able to handle this streaming setup without any issues. So like I mentioned, these are completely wireless and they have around 6+ hours of battery life each. We've been recording on them the entire day and they still have enough juice. So you can see here the little battery indicator on the back. And what's nice, they do charge via USB-C, and they also have an external microphone jack if you want to improve your audio, which we'll get to in a second. So to pair with the Mevo app, it's actually quite simple. Once you've downloaded the app, I'll actually log out of this. So if we just launch this multicam app, and as long as the cameras are on, we'll kind of do this in real time right now so you can see Logitech for creators. These just pair automatically to the app. In a couple seconds, you can actually see they're loading right now. We have them all connected and you can actually see them all in this little grid view, which is great. So I'll kind of walk through the app a bit. Of course, we have the 3 different camera setups. You can actually add multiple cameras. So if you choose to, say, purchase an additional Mevo camera, I think you can stack 4, 5, 6 different camera angles up. Your imagination's kind of the limit, or what you would need a multi-camera setup for. So typically in my videos, this is a very usual setup for me. So I usually have one camera sitting off to the front as my A camera right here. This is, the camera that I typically talk to, and we'll get to some of these accessories in a bit, but just kind of facing that upwards. We'll have a B camera, which off frame, I handily have this nice little boom arm. So I'm just gonna screw this on right here. Boom, B frame cam, and my C one, I'm just gonna leave off to the side as my 3rd little camera. So within the app right now, they're actually all set up in those different angles, and to switch between them, it is just a simple tap of the button and you are now actively switching between each of the camera angles. So when you're recording here, you have a couple different options. You can either choose to record to the iPad internally or to a micro SD card. So when you hit the little record button, you see those different options kind of pop up here. Or if you are into live streaming, so if you're into things like Twitch, YouTube Live, you also have that option. So you have a little live button, and then from there, you just need to log in to your live stream account of choice. So if I were to go on YouTube Live. You're probably watching this on YouTube right now. You could see that there. But as a little example, I'm just gonna hit record and I'm going to save right to my actual iPad. The record quality is set to 1080p, which this records in. So it has a 74-degree field of view on all of the cameras. And of course, we are recording in high def. One nice thing about the Mevo cameras, you can actually set them each to their own different components. So when you actually go into one of them, you can adjust each of the image settings. So within each camera, you can choose to adjust the white balance, adjust the exposure, adjust highlighting, all those different sorts of things. Once you're happy with your image, you can just hit close. And just by hitting this record button on the screen, we've actually started recording right now on the Mevo camera itself. And this is a typical setup that I would have in my studio for my shots, for my multicam setup. So we have the A camera right now, which I'm talking to. I can just kind of pick it up and you can see the field of view, which is nice and wide. I also have this one right underneath this little product view, and the switch between all of the cameras is super simple. So within the app, all you need to do is just select the camera angle that you want, and that will automatically switch record live or save it live to wherever you're recording to. So whether that's a save video or if you are live on one of your streaming platforms. So you can see here, I'm reviewing this little toy car, which I have. And then if I want to switch to my my over-the-shoulder rig, which is set up over this way, now this camera is focusing on the car, and I will switch back once again to camera angle A, and you can kind of see the other angles or the other cameras on set. So it's super simple, super intuitive to use, and as long as you have this app running side by side, like I said, if you have this larger iPad display, and I know that the iPad Pro 2s just dropped with the new M2 chip, slightly confusing, but honestly, I've already seen them. I've had hands-on time. Just get the older generation. It's pretty much the same thing with essentially just the older M1 chip, which I think the iPads don't really utilize to their full potential. So just grab this one. Remember, links for everything down below. And now that you know what the quality is like, I'll do one more quick transition through all of the other camera angles. So onto the B-roll shot right here. So nice and close to the camera. You can see how cool this car looks. And then we will switch to the over-the-shoulder shot, which is right here. And that one is cropped in a bit more. And then just switching back to the final camera, and I will end this stream / recording now and talk about the rest of the stuff. So other than the camera options, I'll just stick those off. What completes, I guess, this setup or this tech travel pack, you can call it. So one of the main accessories that you'll need for your iPad if you want to prop it up, this is the official keyboard combo case from, of course, Apple. It has probably the best integration in that sense, where it still has a Magic Keyboard. This one is nice and supple. It also has Apple's trackpad, which is actually the same as over on their laptops or their dedicated little trackpads that they offer. So as a combo, I know it's expensive. I think this is a couple $100 actually for a case, which is a lot of money. Keep in mind, it is just rubber or silicone on the outside, and over time, spending a couple $100 just for this case to degrade it kind of eats me up inside a little bit, but that is a solid option. I also wanted to introduce a second keyboard. I know that people carry Bluetooth keyboards off on their own. This is the new MX Mechanical Mini Keyboard for Mac, specifically from Logitech as well. And a lot of people were asking about this on social, as this is brand new. This is probably one of my favorite keyboards, or the nicest keyboards to type on. I'm a huge fan of mechanical keys, and if you are in the Logitech family and have been looking for an upgrade for a mechanical keyboard, this works with more than just an iPad, I'll say. I think you would be pretty hardcore if you carried around a Bluetooth keyboard in your pack, but if you are one of those people, if you love the feel of mechanical keyboards, this is the one to get. You'll also pair that with the brand new MX Master 3S, once again for Mac. There isn't too much that's changed from the previous gen. The thing that I actually like the most is the clickability. It's way more quiet. And as a little example, this is the older MX Master 3. There is a big difference in clickability, and people go crazy about that stuff. I actually prefer how quiet or silent the new one is. They come in two different color options, and if you haven't used an MX Master Mouse before, all I can say is you are missing out on life. These things are ergonomic gods for your hand. Grab the new MX Master if you are over on Mac. They also have them for PCs and everything else. So I think these two accessories are pretty sweet. And to complete the accessory game, I think you saw on one of the cameras, I have these little mini tripods. So you can essentially use anything that has a 1/4-inch connector on the bottom. That's pretty universal for all camera gear. So these Manfrotto mini tripods are godsends. They're around $25. They articulate around with their little ball and head mount, or you can get something as simple as a pistol grip. If you are someone that vlogs or does stuff in real time, these little carbon fiber grips are pretty sweet to kind of carry around. Or if you want to articulate your tripods a bit more, you can also use a classic GorillaPod. What makes these GorillaPods so great is, of course, the articulating legs. So you can, of course, use this as a standard tripod, but if you want to get creative with some of your angles, you can actually wrap these or articulate these legs to wrap around different sorts of things. So you can actually, you can imagine my arm was like a pole. You could have this hanging upside down like this, creating a really cool angle for your Mevo camera. So these are some accessories that I think that you can rock. And to kind of finish it off, if you want to have a professional stream, you want to have some sort of lighting system. And to make it mobile, this is just a little tube light from Nanlite. Once again, this plugs in and works completely wireless via USB-C, and you can see that if I just power it on, you have a couple different mode options where you can switch between the color that it emits. So if you're feeling a bit moody with red, you can kind of scroll through the different colors, and you can actually increase or decrease the overall brightness. You can even give a strobe. And to just give you a sense of what this kind of does, it essentially just gives light to your face or whatever product you may have in front of you. And what I love about these lights, they are completely mobile. So you can stick them in a pack, you can carry everything on the go, and you can just set them up as easily as you would with a camera, as they do have those 1/4-inch connectors. And to kind of complete the mobile setup of this, obviously all of this will just slip into a backpack. I'm just gonna go with my all-time fan favorite here. This is the Air SF pack, and it has the limited edition little orange lining on the insides, maybe why I'm so biased. But if you haven't seen Air SF packs on the channel before, you must be new. They're made of ballistic nylon. They have pretty much no branding, and they are great for traveling around and carrying gear. So I'm just gonna load everything in just to show you how versatile they are. So like I mentioned, the keyboard just went in. So iPad Pro kind of folds up within the case. That's gonna slot right into the back. And then in this front loading zipper pocket, that's where I like to keep some of the other tech. So for example, camera 1, camera 2, we'll just throw all the mounts in there. And camera 3, which I still have connected to this over the head rig, I'll just unscrew this, attach it to my mini tripod. So when I'm ready, and in my next location, I can just quickly take these all out of the pack. And of course the Nanlite, we'll just turn this off quickly and stick that into the pack nice and easily. And last but not least, we've got the mouse, and that just will slot into this little compartment up top, which is handy for smaller accessories. Zipped everything up, and in this backpack we pretty much have a mobile studio essentially. So you can go right to YouTube, right to Twitch, right to say Facebook, wherever you're recording on, you can have that all in one pack. And before, that was really tough to do. Even nowadays, there aren't really too many options for multi-camera setups and for being able to do stuff on the go. This is such a handy tool, I think, for content creators. But anyways, that's kind of my current iPad Pro setup, rocking the M2 chip. Like I mentioned, if you already own the M1 iPad Pro, I think you can skip or pass on this upgrade. But let me know what you think of the Mevo cameras and this wireless streaming setup. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next ones. Peace.